Hello, I'm Sarah Cervera.
And I'm Lanie, Perez, and welcome back to Enlace News, where it is officially the week before spring break.
We're bringing you the top 5 latest community and campus news stories coming to you from the Madla building.
Texas A&M University-San Antonio held a voting poll on campus for members of the community and students to cast their votes for the Texas primary elections. Irma Saenz tells us about the importance of the event.
Hi, I'm Irma Saenz from Enlace News, and today I'm on campus for the Texas primary elections. Texas A&M San Antonio held a voting poll on campus for the Texas primary elections. This is the school's 4th time since the school opened that the polling stations are opened for both registered students and the community of San Antonio. Students expressed why having more accessible voting stations in the South Side is beneficial for the community.
I think they're really more prone to being in, wealthier neighborhoods, and with the South Side, it gives people down here a chance to vote too as well, being inaccessible as well, especially younger generations, we're the future, so I feel like what we want in our representatives, that we should put forth our actions to it.
Move Texas, a nonprofit organization, visited campus to educate and register students who haven't already voted. A Move Texas canvasser spoke on why it's important to go out and vote.
So it's oftentimes it can kind of feel like, why should I go out and vote at all? I can't actually vote on whether or not I'm going to get better, more health care. But you are voting for a lot of people in these local positions who can make access to that easier. There are a lot of great candidates on the ballot right now here in Texas, all throughout, that are advocating for those positions. And so those issues are important, like you just mentioned. They were to you, and I know that from talking to community members here, they are deeply important to people here. They need to go out and vote and make sure that they're voting for people who are saying the same things that they are.
More information about voter registrations and engagement groups can be found on the Move Texas website. If you'd like to find out if you're registered to vote or more information about the Texas primary elections, visit votetexas.org. I'm Irma Saenz with Enlace News.
Student Government Association held a meeting to discuss the influx of student housing applicants for the upcoming year. Dr. Zeke Nafee provided important housing updates. Our reporter, Celeste Reimherr Buckert, brings us more.
On February 25th, the Student Government Association Senate held the 18th meeting of the 14th session. One of the most important topics discussed in the meeting was plans to facilitate the influx of on-campus housing applicants in the next year. The new Dean of Students, Dr. Zeke Nafee, addressed the housing concerns and provided updates, including goals to partner with nearby apartment complexes to house upperclassmen until fall of 2023, when the second residence hall is expected to be completed.
Housing Phase 2, last week was approved to be on our master plan by the Board of Regents. So in May, we will go back to our board and say, this is what it's going to cost, then they will approve that. As soon as we have that approval to spend that amount of money with the plan, we can then break ground and start moving forward.
The meeting also covered ideas for a possible student union building. Recently, SGA has been touring student union buildings at other Texas universities to draw inspiration. In philanthropy news, sophomore Senator Gonzalez proposed a sex education workshop using an educational webtoon series.
I know that we're trying to bring contraceptives on campus, but before we bring them, I think it'd be great to have a little crash course on them.
The final order of business was a reminder about the Constitutional Convention on March 4th to make amendments to the current document.
Our Constitutional Convention, where we will work together as a Senate to amend.
The most recently published version of the Constitution, which was last revised in 2017, is, quote, long, messy, and needing work, according to Speaker of the Senate, Kirsten Garcia. In light of the many challenging matters introduced in the meeting, Speaker Garcia urged the Senate to tackle those obstacles with grace, all while creating a safe space for the entire student body.
America as a country is progressing forward, and we need to, phrase being, get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Celeste Reimherr Buckert, Enlace News.
The San Antonio Rodeo has come and gone, but its importance of promoting and educating the youth of Texas is a goal year-round. Our very own Cervera brings us more information on the Rodeo Scholarship.
The San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo is a nonprofit organization. Every cent that you spend here at the grounds will find its way and circulate towards scholarships. In 1984, the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo founded its scholarship fund to promote agriculture and education to develop the youth of Texas. The rodeo has awarded $232 million in scholarships to various middle and high school students, including 12-year-old Landon Kyope, a Lavernia middle school student.
My award is a $10,000 scholarship to any agriculture school across the nation.
Many students, including Styles Patton, a 16-year-old $10,000 scholarship recipient, spend the majority of their lives preparing for the rodeo competitions.
So I went to prospect shows when I was about in 2nd grade, but then I moved up to major shows when I was in 3rd grade and started showing at all these major shows, and then I even go to national competitions also.
The next time you go to the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo, don't forget to support the contestants by cheering them on or browsing in the shops. By simply buying your fairground tickets, you're making a difference in the lives of young students. Sarah Cervera, Enlace News. Texas A&M University-San Antonio's Student Involvement Office hosted Step Africa in the auditorium. Step Africa is a dance company that shares the tradition of step dance. Irma Saenz has the highlights of the event.
My name is Irma Saenz, and I'm with Enlace News, coming to you from Texas A&M San Antonio Auditorium, where we just watched Step Africa perform for the Black History Month event. The Step Africa dance team is dedicated to the traditional African American dance known as stepping. The assistant director of student involvement spoke on how important this event is to the Southside community.
So this event tonight for Step Africa isn't just for our A&M students, faculty, and staff. It's for the entire Southside community. It's for the entire San Antonio community. We want to educate, and if we can do that here on our campus, one, it's a good recruitment tool for the university. 2, it's a good marketing tool for the university. And 3, it is to show the world, just shows Bexar County that who we are and we are here.
Throughout the night, the Step Africa team performed multiple step dances. The company tours around the nation and educates people on the history of stepping. The lead dancer of the group spoke on why having Step Africa on campus is beneficial for the community.
And the show itself, it's more than just performance. It has the educational component as well. So there's many things that people may not be as familiar with in terms of what the history of stepping entails and what it means to be a fraternity or sorority, or what the tradition actually means to these organizations. So it's an opportunity for us to educate the audience and show something else that is part of U.S. history, that is part of Black history, African American culture.
As part of the event, the dance company had the audience learning a simple step dance routine that they performed in the auditorium. If you would like to participate in events like these, look at your Tamusa JagSync. I'm Irma Saenz with Enlace News.
The pandemic has affected many students, including local high school student Giselle Sandoval. She has been doing theater for the past 4 years, and the pandemic has affected her ability to do so. Clarissa Martinez has the rest of the story.
It's so hard to raise these children the right way.
For Southwest High School senior Giselle Sandoval,
Theater means family.
Sandoval has been in theater for all 4 years of high school. For her, it's been an escape from reality.
Whenever I come into theater, I feel like I can kind of just take off all the shells that are on me, and I'm just able to be myself and get vulnerable on stage.
The coronavirus pandemic hit in the middle of Sandoval's sophomore year. This limited the school's performances and the way they could perform during competitions.
It kind of hurt knowing I really wish that I was able to have the full experience and not just bits and pieces of it, because I know that we weren't able to do things to the best of our abilities, or even get the chance to do things to the best of our abilities.
Sandoval said she's seen less participation in the arts since the pandemic. The Las Casas Foundation has also seen less applicants for their scholarship and their programs.
We really had to sort of, I think, hold people's hands and make exceptions more than we've ever had to before. We knew that was going to be lower because we knew that kids were burned out of, doing all of their classes on Zoom, sitting in front of a computer all day.
Sandoval hopes after finishing her education to teach middle school theater instead of performing to inspire others and keep the art alive.
I more so want to show other people how theater makes me feel rather than just like doing my own thing by myself.
Martinez says theater is not limited to performing because the possibilities are endless with the skills that you learn.
You could, I think, find out that you actually prefer writing or directing to performing, or, you know, like there's so many directions that you could go, and you never know what's going to give you that inspiration.
Despite having a limited experience, Sandoval says she wouldn't change a thing.
If you're doing the best you can do in a situation, then that's the best you can do.
This is all we had for you today. Thank you for watching. Have a great and restful spring break.
I'm Lanie Perez.
And I'm Cervera.
Stay tuned for the next Enlace newscast.